Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
Hey everyone, so if you're an Indian student dreaming of getting a medical degree abroad, you are going to want to pay close attention. The rulebook for practicing medicine back in India has just been rewritten, and let me tell you, the National Medical Commission has put up some major new hurdles that could change everything for your career. All right, so how are we going to break this all down? First, we'll talk about why that dream of studying abroad is suddenly facing some big challenges. Then we'll dive right into the NMC's huge crackdown on online classes. After that, it's time for a serious reality check on universities. And finally, we'll lay out the NMC's new mandatory path to getting your license. You know, for thousands of aspiring doctors, going overseas to study medicine is the absolute dream. But what happens when the road to actually practicing back home in India gets a whole lot tougher? Well, that's exactly what's happening right now, thanks to some new rules from the National Medical Commission. So this is the big question, isn't it? It's the one causing a ton of stress, and it's exactly what we're here to figure out. The rules are different now, and getting a handle on them is absolutely critical for every single foreign medical graduate, or FMG, out there. And listen, this isn't just one new rule they've thrown at us. The NMC has actually put out two separate, really important directives that are shaking things up. The first one deals with how you studied during the pandemic, and the second, it's a massive warning about where you choose to study. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, online classes. Now, we all know that during the COVID pandemic, and even because of disruptions like the war in Ukraine, a lot of students had to switch to online learning. Well, the NMC is now getting super strict about how that time is counted. And just so we're all on the same page, let's get our terms straight. The NMC, that's the National Medical Commission, India's top regulator for all things medical education. And FMG, that's you, the foreign medical graduate, any Indian citizen who gets their medical degree outside of India. So here's the bottom line. For a while, some universities were giving out these compensation certificates to basically say, yeah, we made up for the online classes. Well, that loophole, it's officially closed. The NMC is saying loud and clear that a piece of paper is no substitute for real hands-on training. And really, the logic here is pretty simple, but it's also powerful. Medicine is a hands-on job, right? You can't learn how to be a doctor over a Zoom call. The NMC's whole point is to make sure every single FMG has that essential, physical, on-site experience before they treat patients. This sets up a really clear three-step gauntlet that every FMG has to get through now. No exceptions. First, you've got to pass the screening test. Second, you have to prove you've made up for any online classes with actual physical training. And third, you have to finish that compulsory internship. There are no shortcuts anymore. Okay, let's keep going because it's not just about how you study, it's also about where. The NMC, working with the Indian Embassy, just put out a specific advisory about several universities in Uzbekistan, and it's a huge warning sign for students looking at pretty much any country. Now, we have to be super clear on this part. This is an advisory. It's a very serious warning, but it is not a ban. These universities aren't blacklisted. But the message from the government couldn't be clearer. You need to do your homework and be extremely careful. So, what would cause such a strong warning? A whole flood of really serious complaints from students already there. We're talking about huge, systemic issues. Universities enrolling way more students than they can handle, which means lousy facilities and terrible training. And on top of all that, there are reports of just outright fraud by admission agents. These are massive red flags. So the takeaway here is that the responsibility is now on you. You, the student, have to check everything, the university's facilities, the agent's background, before you pay a single rupee. It's really about protecting yourself and your family's huge investment by doing your due diligence. Okay, so we've laid out the problems, and they are pretty serious. But now, let's shift gears and talk about the solution. The NMC didn't just point out what's wrong, it's also given us a very clear roadmap for both students and universities. This is the new path forward. Now pay attention to this date because it's super important. November 18th, 2021. If you were admitted on or before that day, the old rules mostly still apply to you. But if you enrolled after that date, the new rule is totally non-negotiable. You absolutely must complete your compulsory rotating medical internship, or CMRI, back in India. And the NMC is turning up the heat on the universities too. They have to guarantee a complete, quality education. That means limiting how many students they take, providing a full 54-month course, and a 12-month internship in their own hospital. If a university you're looking at can't promise all of this, that's a huge red flag. So what's the big picture here? The new reality is that your foreign medical degree is going to be looked at under a microscope like never before. The days of just getting a degree and coming home to practice are pretty much over. Doing your homework on the university, the agent, the curriculum, it's not just optional anymore. It is absolutely essential. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty big question. With these incredibly strict new standards in place, are we watching the entire world of foreign medical education change before our eyes? It really makes you wonder, is the map of where Indian students go to become doctors about to be redrawn for good?
Want to know the secret to getting into a top MBBS university abroad without breaking the bank? Just type MBBS abroad or study abroad and send us a WhatsApp message right now. Get a free consultation call with our study abroad experts and discover lowest fee universities, NMC approved colleges, complete admission process free. Don't let confusion hold you back. Message MBBS abroad today and start your medical journey. Link in description. Hurry, limited slots available.